What is happening, friends? Welcome back. It's back for round 2. The Black Panther chat is alive and well. This is another round of Reginald Hudlin's Black Panther, the Civil War era tie-in series, the Storm Gets Married to T'Challa series. This is the run. If you had followed us for volume 1 over on my partner's channel, you would have had the wedding of Storm and T'Challa, the Wakanda wedding of the century. And now we're into volume 2, that central middle portion that connects the first and second halves. I've been reading them through these collected editions. You can read them online. I don't think there's an omnibus at this point. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Reading, reviewing this classic era of Black Panther, and I keep saying it's this guy.
Sorry, just doing
no mutants.
Casual reading for you. Have your questions for tonight?
We're on
for
old
the
mutants.
X-Men? Oh, are we not? Wait, there are mutants involved, though, right?
There are. Spoiler. Yes, one in particular, one favorite.
Yeah.
Hey,
Ready
buddy.
More.
Long time no see.
Yeah, man, dude. I am pumped for this one. I love the first 18 issues we went through. And yeah, this set goes into a lot of different directions, and I know it even inspired me to go and read Civil War, which, shame on me, I had never read it before, mainly because I wasn't reading comics during the time it was coming out.
Sure.
But I love the movie, and so yeah, we'll get into all that. But like I did some reading, especially in these last couple of days, binging, and I've been loving all of it. So I'm excited to talk some Black Panther and Avengers.
And I'm in the same boat as you. The early 2000s is an era that I was not reading books. Yep. And when I got back into comics, I was reading more DC because that's where Jim Lee had gone, and I was into his stuff over there. So I missed a huge period of time when I've only ever read it through like trades. So I read Civil War because I was hearing so much about it. I just picked up the trade. But those single issue era, a lot of what Bendis was doing, at the same time, I missed a lot of that stuff. It's been fun to go back and read some of those runs, like his New Avengers or Daredevil or any of that stuff. And now I'm on Black Panther. It's been kind of fun to live that moment again, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Well, let's say hello to some folks in the chat, and then we'll discuss a little bit how this is going to go. Magic Lasso was here tailgating. He got the notification. T'Challa time. Yes, big moment in this era is the Peter Parker admitting, "Hey, I'm Peter."
Yeah, that was the thing. The main picture. I took a screenshot when I texted you yesterday. Yeah.
Black Panther. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got my man Matt, Impressed Comics. What's going on, buddy? He says, glad to have a Tuesday that's closer to normal. I mean, I was 5 minutes, 6 minutes late, 7 minutes late, something like that, but close enough. We got Ryan M. Dubcap, and yes, he was in the chat over on JP's channel last night, and I gifted 5 channel memberships, and he got one of them. So congrats, nice, man. Yeah.
Good deal.
I'm that guy who doesn't necessarily join channel members for other channels. I just give them away to people. that's the jerk I am. Yes. C Bizzle. I don't know if anybody does not know Couching and Slouching with C Biz. I did a really fun interview with him a couple of Saturdays ago. He is an absolutely fantastic gentleman, and I'm glad that you're a T'Challa fan. I've always been a fan of him as an Avenger, but as Justin and I mentioned on his channel, which, by the way, his channel and the video we did prior to this one are linked down below. I mentioned that he's a character that, as much as I liked him, I only really read him as an Avenger, and I have not read a ton of his solo stuff. And that's kind of been this experiment of, I've got this run, I've got the Priest run, I've got the Ta-Nehisi Coates run. I wanted to kind of, really just get inoculated in Wakanda.
Yep. Heck yeah. Love it.
Christina Payne is in the chat. Christina, what's going on?
Hey,
hopefully
Christina.
I didn't send you the I AOK'd Christina some goodies just yesterday, so they should arrive Thursday or Friday. Christina, I'll send you the tracking info at some point. I keep forgetting to send that to you. My man Chris, what's going on, Chris? He says Civil War the movie is far inferior to the comic event.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I will say. They are different animals, right? They're different animals. And I love both of them. equally but differently. They're not related, but they have the same name.
I could see where someone could be a little let down from reading, going, and then watching after. I did it the opposite way, which I do recommend really for anything. Watch the movie first and then read the book, because it's usually just a nice advancement of whatever you watched.
Right.
Initially, that goes for like any movie, but
For sure.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
We got Ryan saying, I jumped into this series with the Civil War tie-ins and went back to the wedding. Got the motion comic for the first 6 issues, though.
Nice.
Okay, there you go. Nice.
Yep.
We got White Tiger. Ruby G, what is going on, buddy?
Cowabunga.
Good to see you, sir. Yes, Justin and I were nominated for another CBC award.
Ooh, that's right.
Omnibus reviews. And I'm very proud of that, because we work hard on those things and have a lot of fun with those. But it's hilarious when you're like looking at the subscriber numbers for those other channels. You're just like, boy, we're really punching up. I'm saying we're really punching up with these guys with 15,000 subscribers, and then there's you and I. That's what we do.
That's right.
Different animals. The comic event is a majestic peacock, while the movie is a roadkill. Shots fired, Chris. Shots fired.
Really, Chris? Really?
I know. What's up, Chef? Good to see you. I hope things are going well. Nice. What are you cooking up tonight, my friend? He's laughing. And Seabiz says, stay away from the John Ridley run, which I have, thanks to my man in the chat there, White Tiger. I do have a chunk of that Ridley run, and I loved the Adam Hughes covers for it, or not the Adam Hughes, the Alex Ross covers for that run, but I've never read it. So I guess Seabiz is saying no backsies on that one. He says, one of my favorite Black Panther storylines is when he moves to Hell Kitchen and takes Daredevil's place and has the cool tactical costume. Ooh, who was that? Who was the writer on that run, Chris? That sounds entertaining.
Wait, real quick, with the John Ridley run that Seabills was saying, is that what year is that? This was
just a handful of years ago. This is when they had that, was it Tosin spec? Everybody was like, there's this new, like, could he be Black Panther's son?
So that's like within 2 years or so. Two or 3 years.
Yeah. They've got that great cover of Storm sitting on the giant X throne at a tilted angle. It's such a great cover.
Alex Ross, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So Ross did a bunch of those covers, and then I think he jumped over and did the Cap covers right after.
Okay.
But I think that's that era.
Okay.
But for tonight, we are on these specific issues of the Reginald Hudlin Black Panther era. Reginald Hudlin, very talented television, movie creator, writer, producer, and also comic book writer. And this is the middle era, or middle volume in his era on the title. And the first volume, like I said, ended with the wedding. Then the wedding, if those who've read it recall, it was kind of like a truce moment in the midst of the Civil War event. Everybody paused. Tensions were getting high. War had not fully broken out at that point, but they agreed to come to Wakanda, neutral ground, for this wedding. And that's kind of where that volume ended. We had this nice moment or whatever. This volume is really, for me, it's 2 pieces. The first half, or a little more than half, is the Civil War, and it covers all the stuff going on with relations between the U.S. and Wakanda, between T'Challa and his fellow Avengers, between Storm and her X-Men and the Avengers and friends that she has, the Fantastic Four, who've always been close to the Wakandans, and sort of the infighting between all these different nations. And we get a little bit of Latveria, there's my little doom there, and Atlantis, and some of these other nations as well. And then the second half of this is the new Fantastic Four, when T'Challa and Aurora join Johnny and Ben as members of the new Fantastic Four. Yeah. So you have these 2 chunks that we're going to be covering here. My question to you was, how aware of what was going to happen were you? How much of this was a surprise? Where were you on, like, what was your awareness at this point?
Like just going into the Civil War portion, essentially.
Or the Fantastic Four portion. Did you know that they joined? How?
No, had no idea. Awareness? No, the Fantastic Four stuff, had no idea. And I have to say, like, even going through, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So, like, this, it's very tiny, but I looked ahead and just to like see,
Yeah.
some of the covers that were coming up. So this is like
For
19,
sure.
we have 20, 21.
Inhumans,
So right off the bat,
Namor.
right off the bat, I'm like, where's this going? Because it's got Doom, it's got all these characters right off the bat, and we're not even into the Civil War stuff. So that was at a quick glance. So I'm like, I'm very excited. Different artists coming through a lot of this stuff, but it looked very intriguing. And obviously the way the wedding ended was a little bit left off with Doom. So I was very excited for that. I had never read, as I mentioned briefly, never read Civil War. So as I told you, I said I want to read this 19 through 34, and then I also want to read the main 7 issues of Civil War. Now, looking back in hindsight, and I feel like I do this a lot, where I just incorrectly read things, even though I know I'm doing it, I just do it. I do wish I read Civil War first. I just kept thinking like, okay, when I get in towards the Civil War stuff, maybe I'll start to try to read back and forth or whatever. And I just never did. I just got into this groove, and I just read all the Civil War, Black Panther stuff. Yeah. So reading that stuff first, there were definitely moments where I was like, wait, what? Like, where did this come from? Or like, I wasn't like too lost, but there were definitely moments where I was kind of questioning certain things going on. And then, and so, but with like certain deaths, like, Goliath, is his name Goliath, right? The big guy.
Black Goliath.
Yeah. So for him to die, or, that obviously would then spoil some Civil War stuff when I went
because they do have like elements from his funeral in the Black Panther issues. But he dies, and the main funeral's in the Civil War storyline. So that they were close in some ways.
I think that would be the one thing that I like would have liked to have just read Civil War to enjoy it for what it was with no spoilers, even though I know the general concept. But when it comes to people dying, like, that is still a bigger deal. So that was kind of spoiled for me in the Panther stuff. But other than that, like I enjoyed the hell out of it. And then even getting into the Fantastic Four stuff, that stuff I had no idea about. Didn't know. That I was a little confused on too with the zombies, and I'm like, where is this going? Like, is it just that? Yeah, it's just that random that the writer's just saying, okay, we're gonna plop you here, and this is just gonna be a thing, and then we're gonna plop you
basically
in this other, which again, then they can do whatever they want, and I guess I was just expecting. All right, that's not what I was expecting. I guess
it's a hard left turn. It's a hard left turn right there.
Yeah. So, we'll get into more. The zombie stuff I was a little off on as far as interest.
So CBiz says that's David Liss who wrote that run of Black Panther and Hell's Kitchen, and Frank Avila did the artwork. So there you go.
Oh, nice,
appreciate that. And Ryan, do not fret. Yeah, the 3rd volume in this run does include the 3 issues that Jason Aaron wrote that tie into Secret Invasion, which is... Now that I couldn't stop. I told Justin, like, I finished, and I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to read the next volume. And it was great, of course. And those 3 Jason Aaron issues remain some of my all-time favorites. They're great. Man. And they are included as the end of this run, because this is the end of this volume. The Hudlin era ends this volume and then starts the new volume with Shuri. So that's included in the next trade, the next complete edition, which I'll send you all the info on it if you need
the numbers. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. JP is in the chat. He says Omni X-Men is back. Wait, Black Panther? I get it, buddy.
There are mutants though, JP.
There are mutants aplenty. Yeah. Well, then let's start with how this volume begins, because it kind of is a 3-issue mini story of Wakandan relations with 3 nations that want to know where he's gonna fall during Civil War. You have Latveria, you have the Inhumans, and you have the city of Atlantis and Namor. And each one of them invites T'Challa in because they recognize Wakanda as an incredible power militarily, technologically,
a lot of resources.
Right? This is an important discussion. Where do the Wakandans fall in this activity? And even T'Challa is kind of playing it close to the vest. He doesn't quite know how much he wants to say about the Wakandan plan. Also, being married to Storm now, and her powers and her connection to the X-Men, it's kind of the concern seems to be where Wakanda goes, maybe this whole war goes, and everybody who sides with Wakanda wins this thing. What did you think of those 3 issues, and how because they kind of, each one is its own sort of one shot?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too, because I was wondering, as I said, like seeing these covers, I'm like, does this just jump everywhere? Like what? Like how do we go into these random characters? But yeah, and I'm get it now, like the way he's checking in with everybody and he's seeing with them too, like where do they stand with a
Right.
lot of this stuff, and they're not all the coolest or bestest of friends, especially like someone like Namor who is just always grumpy.
Right.
So
But they always seem to, all three of those nations, if you count the Inhumans, right, all have stories that cross over with the character of the Black Panther in the past. And so it makes sense that they would be sort of checking in.
Sure, they have this history. But by the way, I just have to show. So when this first started, for anyone who hasn't read it yet, this is like the opening. So I mean, just any
you're like, okay, John, I get it now.
Any fans of people going on vacation. That's what vacation.
It's their honeymoon, my guy.
Yes, yeah. No, you gotta have it. Yeah, no,
Bleak.
I love the Bleaker. I love the interaction between the different I mean, here's the other thing. I didn't know where Doom was at this time. I didn't know where the Inhumans were as far as their, dramas and what they were dealing with. I didn't know Inhumans were on the moon and
on the dark side of the moon.
The literal dark side. So it was cool to just get a vibe of where all that was as I'm putting pieces together. And I think it does a really good job of that. And I think it actually does do a good job of that for someone who, like myself, was just diving into this, not reading any other, tie-ins, which, is kind of random, but, so that was, but it was cool to see all that. And then, I do really enjoy Namor. I know you question my fandom for Namor, but I was excited to see him being included in this and obviously play a big role too. Just the politics, the politics and the way they talk, like between T'Challa and Storm and Namor. I think that's
some of my favorite stuff in these three.
Yeah,
issues,
like it's
seeing
like,
the two of them like debating with.
Yeah, and Namor like walks off at one point and is like, "I'll let you guys discuss," and they
he's like he's trying to like reason with them, knowing that this storm is coming, not our storm, but a storm.
Right. Yeah. So he's so T'Challa. I like that T'Challa is basically. I think he's being realistic in that he's considering global level type stuff. And what's interesting too is that he was getting a lot of flack from his own advisors, his own counsel throughout all this. Really, throughout these 15 issues or whatever, there are several moments where he even has certain council members kind of talk back, and he has to like put them in their place. And he's like, "Hey, do you not want to be here? Because I can, you can take the day off or take the week off or whatever, and I can find a replacement like nothing." And they're like, "No, sorry, sir. Like, I don't mean to disrespect." Like, but you could tell they're frustrated because they're like, Wakanda, we've never, before you, like we never interfered with US or other decisions of other countries, and we
isolationists.
Yeah. So I like that T'Challa is different in that way, and that he wants to look to be concerned with the bigger picture of everything. So to me, that was seeing a lot more of this, him getting feedback and checking in with these other parties that I guess normally probably wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's this cover kind of epitomizes all of that, where he's weighing Captain America and Iron Man to kind of like decide what he's gonna do. Did you have an estimate or idea of kind of where he would fall? Were you trying to predict what he would do?
A little bit. I wasn't really I wasn't really looking that far ahead, but like I was starting to get the idea that he was gonna fall on Captain America's side with things. But yeah, like it still was kind of stringing me on as I was kind of getting into it. The other thing too was as we're talking about like different parties, and I forget where this was revealed. I do think it was within these first three issues, maybe the issue 22, but where I was wondering like what's going on with the X-Men. Where did the X-Men fall into play with all this and the relationships that obviously Storm has, and for them to just be like, nope, we're sitting down on this one, like Emma Frost is like, look, this is really good marketing
Emma
PR.
Frost move, right?
Yeah, she's like, this is great PR for the mutants right now. Like all the heat is off of us.
The one time
no one's looking at
not
us.
the problem. Right? It's always Avengers versus X-Men and Humans versus X-Men, everybody versus X-Men. This is the one time they're like, sucks to be you guys.
Yes, and I think that was done well. I don't know,
it's
whoever
really just one little
writers
in this until you read the actual Civil War,
right?
It's just this one little computer monitor sequence between Storm and Emma, where Storm's like, "So what are we doing?" And Emma's like, "Nothing."
Yeah, no, we're gonna sit
So
back.
Storm's left kind of, well, I guess I'm a Wakandan first now instead of an X-Men, and I got to follow what T'Challa does here.
That's another thing too, is to see her being torn at times with, first of all, is what we're choosing the correct side. That alone is a big discussion. But then on top of that, she's questioning, like, she's got all these relationships and feelings towards certain individuals, obviously, and trying to respect where she came from with the mutants and what would they have done, or what, and then also she's trying to be the wife and the leader, the queen of Wakanda. And so
for sure,
that mixture to me was really interesting. And that's always been something, like, Storm's always been a great leader. And that's what I love. That's one of the things I love most about her. And for her to still see that she's struggling with certain things, even though she has all this experience, it's just very grounding for her. And, seeing her struggle.
Absolutely. Yeah. But then, to your point, there's also friends like Black Goliath, Luke Cage, some of these other icons in Marvel of the African American side of things that that both T'Challa and Storm have connected to. So their loyalties are kind of split, and they've both been pretty close with Luke Cage in the past, and Luke is very clearly on the Cap side of this thing. Right. So already it's like, do we lean that way? Where do we fall? And of course, when Goliath dies, it has an impact. Yeah. What's up, Brian LCS in the chat? What is going on, my friend?
What's up, Brian?
Happy Saturday, sir. Or not Saturday. Geez, Tuesday. What the heck day is it? I don't even know.
I mean, I wish.
I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.
It's not Omni X-Men, that's true.
We also see T'Challa confront Cap and getting a little scuffle with him, and confront Iron Man and it's almost like he's pushing and testing the both of them. Yeah. So it's coming back in October. This is our summer show. We do Wakanda in the summer, and
Omni Black Panther,
Omni X-Men in the spring or in the fall.
That's right.
We do everything. We do everything. At least only Marvel.
For now.
For now.
Nightwing. Here we go.
Right. So I guess let's get into Civil War. What were your thoughts on the Civil War event, the main event? And some of the surprises, some of the twists, some of the thoughts that you had for that series.
So, like, I really was wondering how they were going to go about it. Civil War the movie is it might be my number one. Like, it is right up there. It is one of my favorites. And part of that might be my experience in the theaters at that time. I was not into comics yet at that time, and I didn't know, like, I didn't watch this is where I wasn't watching trailers, and so going into this,
I remember you saying, you were like, "There's Spider-Man's in this."
Yes,
you didn't know, that was
I
cool.
had no idea that
would have been
showed up. So to me, that, like, it was a whole experience. So that I think that also was a reason I put it up there. But so I was just curious, like, that the concept of that story is so well done, and I'm like, why did I never read the comic for that? Because I do love that, and I would love to see, obviously I was aware that there's going to be way more characters involved in the book,
right?
And I wasn't sure to what level, and man, it is to a maxed out level. Like the decision, the fight scenes, when certain characters show up, where you're just like, even me reading it now, I'm just like, whoa, like Punisher out of nowhere, like like all that stuff was so cool, and I almost got that vibe again, similar to when I watched the movie. Was just like, who's going to show up in the shadows next?
It's a who's who in the comics. Obviously, they can get away with having everybody. Versus obviously the movies, they're a little more restricted.
Yeah, and I was worried that it was going to be too jumbled or feel like too much, but it didn't. It really didn't. It was
good.
It was so well done to even the beginning, like, to show, because I'm thinking, like, okay, general concept. Heroes must kill somebody, or something bad must go wrong with heroes villains battle, and so we start with these characters who I'm not as familiar with. Some of these characters, Speedball or something like that, like some of these, I know the cousin of Namor, Namorita or whatever her name is, like, not as familiar with them, and so right off the bat I'm like, do I want to get in that? That's where I like put it on pause for a second, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to read this, because I feel like I'm going to have to know a lot of characters, but once I got into it and realized that was just the moment that kicked everything off.
That's the impetus for the whole thing. For sure.
So and from there.
And then once the heroes show up, then it becomes a traditional, like, a Marvel Avengers kind of book.
One versus the other. And when Cap goes hidden right in the beginning. It's the first issue is when they kind of try to take him in. I'm like all in at that point. Like, whoa, this is great. Like this is everything I
Maria
want.
Hill.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that was cool.
She's the real villain, I think,
she was
of
tough.
that book.
Oh,
like much as it's easy to hate Tony in that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I think Maria Hill is the real villain of that book for me.
She stood her ground. She really stood her ground on everything. So
she was too hardcore. She does not have the moral flexibility of a Nick Fury that I think was needed in that moment. Somebody to just calm folks down a little.
Yeah.
Let's say, we got Brother John in the chat, and Brother John, don't worry.
Brother John.
I have the Priest Omnibus, I think volume 1 of 2, and I've got the Ta-Nehisi Coates Omnibus. So there's more T'Challa to come. We'll just have to figure out how much I can squeeze out of Justin here.
On
we'll
the
see.
list, yeah.
What is up? I have comic issues. We all do.
That we do.
So you had more that you want to say?
Well,
the other thing, I had a follow-up question that maybe tied into it was just some of your favorite character moments, or some of your favorite people that you were like, oh, I was really excited whenever they would show up, and the bits that they added to the story or whatever.
So, well, one thing I wanted to point out was the what happened with Johnny Storm and when he's where he gets attacked essentially by a bunch of humans, and they're calling him like baby killer or child killer, and like again the politics of that was very like whoa, very much
the FF are at the front line there, taking a lot of bad press,
and knowing how much they're loved normally, that was such a big thing, and for them to attack him especially and knock him out or whatever. I mean, as far as other character moments, generally speaking, I think who was it? One thing I wanted to highlight was we mentioned briefly was Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, he was very much himself throughout all of it. I mean, he genuinely just wanted to make sure, he thought he was doing good, and what he did, what he truly believed in. He wasn't trying to hurt anybody. He definitely didn't want, anyone to get hurt or die. And he was trying to do it in a way, he was very positive, just like he is. Like, he's just like, see, I told you nobody was going to get hurt or whatever. And then the whole thing with the robot Thor and all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then to see him flip, I was so happy to see him flip. Because I just feel like that's what he would do, like at that as who he is, and as he's learning and figuring things out.
He's a character who's always full of doubt and questions himself, and so he may make a rash decision, but then might come around at some point. And for people that always like complain in the MCU that like, why is he always with Iron Man, why is he tied with Iron Man, like Civil War for me shows it. Like, it explains why those two might get along
relationship
as scientists, nerds, and I think they have some things in common that for me this story makes that relationship in the MCU work better for me.
No, definitely. We mentioned before too, the reveal when he reveals his identity and everything, like that really put a stamp in the beginning of like, whoa, okay, like big name players are really strongly taking sides, and
I still can't believe Marvel let the writers do that.
Because
they had to walk it back later, like they had to do a Doctor Strange wipes the world's memory kind of thing later on, just like they did in the MCU. So I get
but it made the stakes so big,
it was a great character moment.
They were
and that J. Jonah Jameson like freak out.
Oh my God. And he runs, he's disappeared. It's little things like that you really would wonder, what would a character do in certain scenarios? Right. And they give you that. They definitely give you that. So that was great.
Let's say hello to Sheena. What's going on, Sheena? We got my man Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? Good to see you, sir.
So Jeff.
And CBiz says the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 video game is based on the Civil War event. Okay.
That's nice, cool. Nice. I'll watch a.
You had mentioned the Punisher, and I got to say the way they used him in this was shocking to me, and yet fantastic. Where he's like, of course he's following Cap's lead. He's gonna go down that rabbit hole. Of course, when they start bringing in villains, he's just going to shoot him. He's not going to like waste time. And then when Cap freaks out and has to beat him up, he's not going to fight back. Like that whole
so
bit
powerful
with the Punisher is so good for me. That's my, when Cap's like, that guy's insane. It's like, he's an unstable guy. The Punisher is not a stable clearly thinking individual. He's a trauma induced character.
Right. And
So
but
I
as you
love
said, like,
that. Plus it makes Punisher makes Cap question what he's doing the same way
yes,
Maria Hill makes Tony question what he's doing, because
yep,
as much as this is a Tony versus Cap, that the far extremes of this story are Maria Hill and the Punisher, and they
yeah,
are way out there.
yeah,
And if
yeah.
those two could just go somewhere and fight this out, Cap and Iron Man could work out their stuff on the side somewhere.
Right. And yeah, like you said, like even for Punisher to not fight back, I thought that was at the same time. Yes, he's all over the place, but he truly believed like in what Cap was doing, and he's like, I'm not gonna hit you, like,
Yeah,
so he
you're a
does
good
have his
person.
morals
You're,
in a certain level.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you're a good person.
He's like,
right.
you're a hero. I respect
Yeah.
you. I'm not gonna fight back.
Right,
You didn't do anything wrong. If you think I
Yeah.
deserve to die, I would deserve to die. I'm gonna let you kill me.
Right.
What about on the other side?
Yeah.
Tony Stark creates this new Thunderbolts. All the villains are now on his crew.
Yes. So that was what a twist, because that really made, for anybody that was like teetering how they felt about the two sides, just other heroes in general, that really pushed a lot more people onto Cap's side after they saw that, or had to fight them themselves. They're like, like even with Spider-Man, like, man, I'm used to, putting you guys away or whatever. And these villains are now like, hey, I've been instructed to, take you out.
I got a shiny new badge.
Yeah,
I'm official now. I signed the accords. You know my name.
I'm not doing anything bad here.
The Superhero Registration Act includes me now. I got a full pardon, and I can go and crack some skulls.
I think from a writing perspective, it was genius to like do that and to throw that mix in,
right?
And like it bothered me, like with Tony. I'm like, what? Like that? I just feel like that he's desperate. He's clearly desperate. I felt like, at that point. And it was looking a bit more grim. The numbers switched by that point, and he's doing everything he can to kind of try to fix things. The other thing I wanted to mention too, and this is part of the tie-ins to the Black Panther stuff, is seeing the battle with what's his name? That was in the Sentinel, and Black Panther saves him. He was about to get killed.
In the Sentinel.
Not why can't I think of his name? Rhodey.
Oh yeah, War Machine. Yeah.
War Machine.
Okay. Yeah.
So like again,
because he's a guy with a foot in each of these things as well. He's a hardcore military guy who follows what Tony says,
right?
But he's also friendly with the Wakandans, and he's friendly with T'Challa, and for him, he's kind of caught on both sides of that too.
Yeah, and for what he was doing, and he's being in this Sentinel robot that then gets knocked down and taken over by folks that Black Panther then has to save. There's so many like flips on that that makes it so ironic, and where Iron Man has to be like, shoot, like I have to forgive, he saved my guy, like, and I can't, like he wanted, they're there to like, stop him and everything, but he has to let that whole thing kind of, he has to back off essentially, because Black Panther is good for Iron Man.
And it happens in the movie, right? Because you have characters that flip sides. Some people are keeping secrets. Some people change their minds. There's a lot of that in the film as well, which I think the film gets right. It's just that the stakes are different. The structure is different as far as like what the problem is at the center of it.
Yeah.
And so for here, though, I think that it works in that design. There's two other pieces I want to touch on that both tie into the Black Panther bit here. We briefly touched on Thor. So, I still don't know exactly how he died or disappeared and why he's not here at this point in the story. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows why Thor was dead and all they had was this clone thing that Hank Pym and Reed made. I would love to have a little bit of that information, but I don't need it. It's not necessary to the story.
No.
What were your thoughts on this like dead body Thor comes to life thing?
It was dark, and it provided that dark side, especially with what he does, and killing. But like, I was trying to understand, like, well, if he's not Thor, does he have the power? If he's just a robot, could really any of these heroes take him down? Like, is the hammer as heavy as the real hammer goes? Like, I was kind of questioning the science of it to some degree. And I mean, Storm has some awesome scenes in it where she really puts him in his but Storm and Reed's wife.
Sue Storm,
Sue,
the other
yeah.
Storm.
Yeah, that's right. He died during Ragnarok. So
The Avengers disassembled. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Thanks, Ryan.
To your point though, I was wondering kind of where the real Thor was or what was going on at the time, because
Yeah.
everybody just seemed okay with the fact that they made this robot and it wasn't like a villainous
I would
thing at
say
all.
everybody on Tony's side seemed okay with it.
Yeah.
Although there was it'll bring us to our next point, but like I do like the way it was sort of like in and out of Black Panther and the main title Civil War.
Yeah.
The battles with this version of Thor. Obviously, he kills Black Goliath, and then later Sue and Hercules and
that was some great scenes.
And Aurora all take him down in kind of wonderful fashion.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on how it all kind of ended?
Yeah, no, I thought the battle scenes to put him in his place at the end were great, especially where Hercules steps in. It's a great panel, like a great.
It's so good.
The artwork is fantastic.
Splash page, right?
And then on top of that, I was going to do a post later about and just kind of share some of those scenes because I did love that moment where all it did was show the girls reacting to the punches,
watching,
and they're like, "Ooh,
it's
ow,
right.
Oh man,
yeah."
Yeah, but
this one right here.
There you go. Yeah, those are great.
Which like is the other half of the big showdown between Hercules and Thor that you get in the main title. Because in the main title, you get to see how, because Hercules and Thor always fight in the Avengers. They're always testing who's like stronger or whatever.
Yeah.
And you get to see Hercules take that hammer and smash his brains in. He just lays into it. And of course, he does that classic, like, I know, so and so, and you are no whatever. So he's like, I know Thor, you are no Thor, and he just like lays into him. It's so fantastic because Storm and Sue are both like managing it just fine,
right? And
then all of a sudden he's like, "Let me take over," and
it was like personal.
He comes running in, because as much as he had a rivalry with Thor, he's also somebody who is not going to let some phony murderer stand in. Right, he's not going to let you carry his mantle.
Yep.
So it fit nicely with Hercules' character.
Oh yeah, and again, this robot was another desperate move by Iron Man and Hank and the rest of them. Like,
which leads to later Hank feeling remorse and doing his big flip.
Yep. Yeah, I like that they showed that.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get to the big finale of Civil War. But the other thing I wanted to discuss, because it's relevant to the second half of this run, is the Fantastic Four. And you had mentioned Johnny's injury and Reed's dedication to Tony's cause. And Sue is stuck in the middle, right? Sue is all the way through both these issues and the Civil War main title. You see Sue questioning all of this. And even when she's not saying anything, you can see the doubt, right, that she has that this is not the way. No. And she's close to Storm and she's close to T'Challa, and you see moments when she's talking to both of them and expressing some of those doubts. And then ultimately it leads to her writing Reed this note and running off to join the revolution. And the FF splinter as a result, because they can't deal with this disagreement that's happening. And then this ultimately leads to the second half of this run, which I'll just briefly say is Sue and Reed go off, and Johnny and Ben stay in the house or in the mansion there. What was it called? The Baxter Building. And Sue and T'Challa, Aurora and T'Challa move in. And they become the other half. So the way that this Civil War arc ends for the FF builds into the next half of this series, where we see T'Challa and Storm take on those roles. So I guess my big question is, what are your thoughts on the FF here and what they become?
Yeah, so and this goes back to what I was saying about, I kind of wish I read Civil War first, or at least in between, is because I was wondering where at one point as I'm reading Black Panther, Sue switches. So Sue reveals that she's straight up on the opposite side of her husband. And so to me, I'm like confused. I I thought I'm like, clearly I missed something because it doesn't really tell you why or
Yeah,
how.
in the Black
You don't get
Panther
the
book
letters.
alone, you would
Right.
not have that information for
Yeah.
sure.
And like the letter she left him was so good. Like it was such a powerful
Yeah.
moment. And especially how it was done, almost like a montage of showing all these scenes, her saying her goodbyes, giving kisses to her kids, and leaving the house. Like I wish I saw that first, you know, going into the rest of the Black Panther stuff. But I get it, and I'm glad I went back and read it. Just connected so many other things. By the way, I went back today and reread like 3 or 4 issues just to feel everything and understand. Now that I read Civil War, I went back and read the Black Panther Civil War stuff again. So
nice.
it kind of connected a bit better, you know, this time around. So that was helpful. But yeah, so to see them split up, obviously a massive deal to be on the two sides. And I already kind of saw something happening because Johnny was, you know, he had felt, you know, he was banged up, and, you know, it was kind of a toss in the air. I didn't even feel like Ben was really on a side either. Like, so
I think
was,
Ben,
you know, it was just
Ben
Reed,
has always been
you know?
super loyal to Reed, so he's
Yeah.
kind of stuck in the middle a little bit, and
Yeah.
and wasn't choosing for himself.
No, he wasn't there, right?
Versus
Because he wasn't
Sue.
vocal about it. He was just like kind of going with the flow with whatever Reed did, which I get. But yeah, Sue definitely, and then the last straw with Black Goliath dying and all that other stuff, and her feeling embarrassed and ashamed of what Reed is doing, and
yeah,
you know,
when she sees the robot Thor,
yeah,
it completely unhinges her
because she didn't know any of that. She's like,
just done.
you
She's
never
like,
told me
this
about
is
that. So, yeah.
this is not acceptable.
Yeah.
You've crossed some big lines here, buddy.
Yep. So because of that and them splitting, I do like that, because I was wondering, I'm like, how is this going to get better, or how is this going to? So I like that in the few chapters after in the Black Panther stuff, they reveal that, and they're like, hey, we're going to step away. We need some time together, Reed and Sue, and to rekindle and work things out, which I like that. And I was surprised for them to be like, oh, well, you know, it worked out because they were like, they lost their embassy. Yeah. And the building got destroyed, and for Reed to be like, hey, you could use Baxter Building for now
as a temporary embassy for
thing.
Wakanda. Yeah, the Wakandan embassy gets demolished.
Yes,
and Reed says, you know, use the Baxter Building, live here. But the most underappreciated moment is, and watch over my kids who were not freaking taking our. Reed Richards is the worst absentee parent in the comics. He is an absolute. He makes Xavier look strong. He makes Xavier look like he's making solid parenting decisions. Every time you want to hate on Xavier, and I do, I always remind myself that however low he'll sink, there's one layer deeper that Reed's gonna go. Reed's always like, hold my beer. That's where Reed is with this whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he leaves the kids, and we never see them. Like they never mention the kids. I guess Herbie is just watching the kids the whole time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that Herbie had a little scene in there too at one point. But yeah, and I did like that they referenced Ben and Johnny as the children as well, because they were she's like, yeah, they're like, they might need a little guidance as well. And they're like, no, we don't, we're adults, we could, you know, and they're like, and Sue's like, you're proving my point right now. Like,
yeah,
so
the Wakandans are talking.
The they did that. Yes, yeah. And they were so excited. I love the reveal when Ben's like, okay, Reed, like, I'm with it. Who are these guests that are coming over? And it's this big cool reveal of you know, Black Panther and Storm, and they're like, and the two of them, their eyes are open and they're just leaning in on the one panel. Like there's no words. They're just like, oh, and they're like, okay, like, you know, good call. And they, I can only imagine,
mommy and daddy are home.
Yeah. Like I think they were pretty, you know, fired up for that, you know. Oh, and Johnny was like, is it somebody hot? You know, is it so he was like interested to see if it was like a chick that he could, you know, hit on or whatever. Sure. So I like that we got all their personalities there. And it's an interesting mix because those two are goofballs. And T'Challa and Storm very much are not. And I think that they're
very
much
serious.
Yeah. So I think it's a good combination, especially as we get into some of these wonky stories with golden frogs and zombies.
Yeah, here's that reveal of like Storm and T'Challa,
and show the panel right below that with them. The two of them, their heads are like
reactions.
Yeah, Johnny's eyes are like wide open. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, very funny. Well, we got Signature King. What is going on, Tony? Good to see you, sir. How you doing?
What's up, my friend?
So I guess we can briefly touch on the finale when Captain America and Daredevil basically rescue all the prisoners that have been captured, all the heroes that have been locked up, and free them to fight off Tony and his cadre of villains and things that he's created. And it's the big showdown. And Cap wins. but realizes he's as much as he won this battle, he lost the war. He lost track of what mattered, and ultimately this has cost him so much that he gives up the banner of Captain America, quits, and allows himself to be sent to jail. And the rest of the team that were siding with him are left trying to put those pieces back together, including T'Challa, who still feels like they were in the right and is now something of a criminal of the United States in some regards. So I was just curious your thoughts on how it all kind of ended.
Yeah. So I have to say, I think it does such a great job. What's up, Richard? I think it does such a great job of really showing Cap winning. Like everything goes right in Cap's way at the end, where even when they try to reveal Tigra being a mole,
a spy,
a spy, and T'Challa and them are like, no, we knew, and they're like, what? How did you know? And like, because we had one of our own, and
she's a cat fighting in a bikini. She's not subtle, gang. She's not subtle.
No, but I like that they had their own guy on the other side who took over as Hank Pym, and it just hit Reed and Tony. They're like, oh my god, they had access to everything. Oh my god, they know everything. Like you could just see it in their faces that they're screwed. And Cap had the upper hand completely at that point. And then on top of that, they free all the prisoners. So when they just looked like they were short on, guys to fight or team members to fight, they have everybody just re-show up there, including like Cloak and Dagger. Cloak played a huge role in a lot of this. And going back to what, all the stuff we've read from Omni X-Men, that was kind of cool to like see them play the roles that they did. I'm like, okay.
He scoops up everybody and then drops them over the city of New York.
Yes. Which ties in perfectly in Black Panther's series if you read it in a row. So when I'm reading the Black Panther thing, I just see these guys drop out of the sky and I'm like, whoa, this is out of context. Like, what is happening right now? And then I go read, later and I'm like, oh, wow. So that was this moment. Like, okay. Like it paid off, but it just was like, oh, okay. Like I was definitely confused that first time around. But yeah, I loved seeing that and how they used him. So you have, for him to, of course, it's Cap. Like it's what he believes, and he's recognized. I love that he kind of woke up in that way to say, like, this is wrong. I'm not here to kill my friend. Like, this is not what it's about. And not many people, I think, could do that in that position. So for him to just drop it,
even Tony at the end of the whole thing, is just more embedded in his way of thinking. Like he is such an unmovable object. Like Tony is so rigid in his thinking.
Which is him, right? That's him.
Yeah. That he's like, sweet. Now I'm in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. and this is going to be amazing.
He's already thinking far ahead.
I was right all along and I knew it. I've been proven right. Like he is so unable to see beyond his own ego. It's a big head. Perfect. Yeah. It's a perfect way to end. Even Hank Pym with a huge ego was able to step back and say,
oh yeah, like,
we screwed up, buddy. Like this is not it. Whatever it is, this is not it. And I like the awareness that a lot of the characters outside of Tony have. But yeah, Tony and Maria Hill are just more dug in like ticks than ever.
Yeah, which again plays off perfectly for who they are, and for those who grew from it, I just love seeing the growth. So it really worked out on both sides. I agree with what you said with T'Challa is like in a bad spot at this moment because he, as you said, he feel like the way he goes to Storm and he's like, hey, Cap quit. She's like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like,
yeah, which is the beginning of the second half of this set of issues that we're talking about is them standing in the rubble of New York saying like, we're on our own. This is bad.
And now he's got the drama. Look, he's still facing his own council who's been giving him shit this whole time. And now they're like kind of like throwing in his face. Like, dude, what? Oh, yeah, you screwed a lot of stuff up. Why don't you take some time to go, figure that stuff out now? Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
And that's where that one guy got snippy with him. And he's like, hey, do you want to leave? Do you not want to be part of my council? Because I can remove you right now. And he's like, oh, no, sorry. So I love that they had those moments. But yeah, it really it left T'Challa having to put in some more work now, politically. And even for Storm was getting frustrated at times too because of the neighboring countries that they had and not realizing kind of what they did that hurt them and them being frustrated back. So it wasn't smooth sailings, put it that way.
And she has not ever been an isolationist. Like Storm's mentality is I'll clean up the mess. But Wakandan mentality is it's not our problem. right? And I think those are very
blend.
counter, ideologies,
Two
and so
opposite ends.
they're all in turmoil inside of our girl, and I think.
By the way, great shirt. I was going to say that earlier. Yeah, very
Had
nice.
to wear my Storm shirt, although
Very
I have my Wakanda Wu-Tang shirt. I almost wore.
It's a good one too. I just went Marvel. I went Marvel today because I was like, yeah, just cover everything
because it's Marvel, baby. Okay, good. So that kind of leads into the Fantastic Four era, and I will say, the Civil War stuff I like a lot more than the Fantastic Four stuff.
Okay,
If we're weighing the two halves of this volume,
I was going to ask you. Yeah,
it's filet mignon and a reasonable fast food burger. Like I like both. I like both. It's not a homemade or a really fancy burger. It's just it's a good fast food burger.
It's a great.
So
now I'm
I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know that we spent 50 minutes on that first half. I don't know. I love we'll spend 50 minutes on the second half.
Right. I figured, I was like, John, we almost could have had our own Civil War live stream, just Civil War. Maybe that's something down the road.
And I was telling you before we went live, I've always wanted to go through the app and read Civil War with all the tie-ins in one big reading, because they do have that ability inside the app.
Yes.
But I also recognize that's a lot. It's a ton, and all those tie-ins, like you're saying, add a lot, and I'm excited to see them. But who's got the time for that?
Right. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind doing little one-offs and reading. Now that I know the story, I wouldn't mind going back at time to time and read a little 3-issue mini or whatever on where some of these other characters are right now. I think would be cool to be able to do that at least.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So the centerpiece for this storyline is that.
Yes.
It's this annoying,
little frog.
creepy looking golden frog.
Yeah.
And there's magic, there's alternate realities, it's a very Fantastic Four story.
Yes.
It's very fantastical and supernatural, and T'Challa and Storm are wonderful straight men to the Johnny and the Ben Grimm, comedy guys. So what's going on is our heroes are sort of caught in alternate realities. This is when Marvel was trying to bring the Marvel Zombies thing in and make it a part of continuity, not just a alternate Marvel universe. And they did it through this frog that was like manipulating time and space and throwing our FF characters around. They get to visit an ancient past at one point where Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are hanging out with them. They get to battle crazy scrolls and bugs and monsters and things.
Oh yeah, the bugs.
It's a wild ride of comic silliness. What are your thoughts in general on this set of books? Is there any highlights for you that were like, oh, this was wonderful? Any lowlights you're like, oh, I'm happy to never read that book again?
Well, I like going back to what triggered a lot of this is, and I'm thinking now, we didn't really mention this part, was the prison 42, this number, and that was really with Civil War and everything, and what Tony was planning. There was this little side story going on with this alien bug or whatever. And throughout the Black Panther stuff, I'm like, what is this? What? And they would just show you a little glimpse, like a little one page or a couple panels. And I'm like, am I supposed to know something that I didn't even know what the 42 was exactly. I mean, because I wasn't reading the Civil War stuff. So that really was like kind of throwing me off. And then eventually this bug escapes. And and this is like what sets it off. And like, and I'm like, where are we going with it? And I almost didn't realize we left like the Civil War stuff. Like, I'm just like, okay, but what about the Civil War stuff? And they're like, come on, Fantastic Four. Now that we're Fantastic Four,
because they're expecting you to have actually read the event.
Yeah. They're like, let us, ride take this golden frog, and we'll go after, and we'll get him out of here. And I'm like, all right, but what about what's going on over here? Like, what about the UN not wanting to work with T'Challa? Like all that stuff. Like, so it got away from all those politics, because again, there was still a lot of stuff that wasn't answered, and I was hoping that we get a little more, or even from other characters or whatever. And we just went off on this random adventure. So to me, it felt very random. In the meantime, it was fun. It's, and I think that's really kind of more or less what it was designed to be. I didn't know about the Marvel Zombies. I never read the Marvel Zombie stuff or that.
Sure.
I mean, I kind of knew
they've
that
done like 3 volumes of it, like,
Yeah,
where
and
basically zombies attack. It's like DC versus vampires. It's like one of those kind of like
which
alternate
which
timeline
that's
thing.
and I'm cool with those. I just was shocked that they were trying to actually tie it into continuity because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
It
I'm
was
like,
so
wait,
popular, they just wanted to, like, cash in on it a little bit.
okay, because
And
I
they
didn't.
got to do all those fun covers, and they
Oh,
were all
the
around the
covers
Marvel
were cool
universe, because this was the FF title, this is the Black Panther title. There were a lot of, like,
that they tried
stuff,
to
because
tie.
I believe there's an FF title with these characters as well doing stuff. That's not
Oh, okay,
just happening in Black Panther, but somebody
okay.
can correct me if I'm wrong.
So I didn't really like. I wasn't really digging the zombie stuff. I was like, just one. Like there was nothing that mattered to me. There was no high stakes. It was
Yeah.
just like this silly set of characters who were like goofballs, and they were just hungry, and they were trying to, and it was a little dark. Like they were killing like kids and stuff for the scroll
Yeah.
kids, and so I'm like, oh,
And
like
they
this is
were
kind of
Marvel
dark.
characters. These, it was like Luke Cage, and it was
Yes,
several
it's
Marvel
Wolverine, like
characters, like Spider-Man.
Hulk.
Yeah.
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 So I was like, and that's the other thing. I was kind of questioning, like, am I supposed to know this dimension? Am I supposed to know
Right.
what happened? Because they were smart, like they were smart enough to have conversations, So I'm like, oh, they're not like just regular zombies, like
Right.
in the term of what I think of zombies. So I didn't know what I should know or didn't, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it and see where it takes me. And it was the 3 issues or whatever. There was some fun artwork. The covers were great. I thought those were cool.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I was kind of like ready. Like 3 issues was enough. I think it was like 3 issues.
Yeah.
And
And then
that was kind of it.
they get warped away at the end of that storyline, and you get a sequence that you might have been like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
My favorite line in this is when T'Challa says, because she says, "Oh, T'Challa, welcome." And again, there's all the X-Men characters. If you couldn't see close enough there, you got Rogue, you got Gambit, you got Wolverine, you got Kitty and Colossus. And he says, "Welcome. What are you talking about? What is this?" And Storm says, "We're the X-Men, darling. Did you think all these powers were just for beating up bad guys?" Look, gang, I know that the X-Men are, I guess you'd say, sex positive. This is a bold set of visions here, where
Yes.
T'Challa's like, "Am I envisioning what is happening?" He's being seduced by Emma Frost. Even Wolverine's like, "Why fight at T'Challa? It's a real good time."
Yeah, like I don't know if I was reading this comic at the time it was coming out. I don't know if I would have gone much further at this point. I really this was very odd and especially that particular issue. Like the zombie stuff was already tough enough, and now to go into this, I'm like, okay, is it just more of this? Like what,
But it cuts away, and we see the villain who is basically captured Aurora and T'Challa and Ben and Johnny, and is manipulating their consciousness. And so it jumps around a few times, and you end up getting like, Storm is able to fry the circuits and rescue them all. So the issue is wild. But those pages with Storm basically like, nah, man, it's totally cool. But that's when they land in this alternate future, but it's like also a past, because again, Malcolm X is alive, and Martin Luther King, and it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Yeah, here's MLK.
Yeah, they try to. And as I was reading this, I started to question. I was like, wait, are these scrolls? Am I supposed to think these are scrolls? Were they scrolls that took the identities based on what? Because they did talk about, they look back on Earth, or they learned from something with Earth. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm misreading this. I'm like, were they scrolls who just looked back at the history of Earth, and they're like, let's adapt some of these ideas, and they just did it? Or was that actually supposed to be Martin Luther King and Malcolm X?
It was supposed to be, because it is like this weird alternate dimension timeline thing. But they've also got like a gladiatorial arena where they've got people like fighting to the death and stuff.
Does the arena remind you of anything here, John?
The arena. I feel like we've been getting a lot of that in
the early issues of this that we were doing. I'm like, whoa, I know this arena. It wasn't too long ago Cannonball was in this arena.
But for me, I love how like quickly that stuff seems to end with T'Challa just like snapping the werewolf's neck or whatever. He's just like cracked.
Oh yeah,
I got it.
That was cool.
They send Ben in to fight him, and Ben's like, hey, we're
not
buddies.
gonna
Like,
fight.
you know what? And then T'Challa's like, I know you do that fastball special move with Wolverine. Do you think we could do that here?
Yep.
And they do a couple of fastball specials in this
Yes.
in this run where he basically just throws him and launches him at the bad guys. T'Challa gets tossed. Yeah.
Yes. I will say the artwork and the battle scenes in this setup was a lot of fun. I thought that actually that whole set of panels that you're holding up, I thought was fantastic. And I read it digitally, so I'm swiping through, and to see T'Challa swipe the way he does at the end there,
like, right through the force field that's protecting the bad guys.
Yeah.
And he's catching them, and he's like, T'Challa is a very different kind of hero. He's like, I'm killing this guy. I'm taking this guy hostage.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, he's stabbing him in the neck. Like,
he is not the guy who's like, no death penalty. He's the guy that's like, no, you've earned death.
Oh, yeah, he's not.
That's what I do.
I was.
And then you've got Storm doing her thing. She's lighting everything up, and Ben is knocking every guy down. So there's it. I do agree. It's the action is good, the energy is good, the artwork is good. Yeah, but it still feels like a Star Trek episode where you're like, oh, they're in the Old West now. But
that's a great way.
But instead they're in like an alternate reality where there's like old-fashioned cars, but there's a gladiator arena and high technology and Martin Luther King.
Yes, and mobsters.
Right?
With their guns.
And then this kind of all ends with them finding their they go to the future, or they get a glimpse of a future, because we have the Watcher.
Oh yeah.
Once our heroes get warped away at the very end of that story, we get the annual, which is called Black to the Future. By the way, great title.
Wait. This was the annual?
I believe this is the annual in this volume.
Oh wait, so I don't think I read that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'll show you.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you that you should check it out later. It's this cover, Black to the Future, which is hilarious. So the end of then, if you just read through issue 34, this was the end then, where they kind of like warp away, and Malcolm X is left kind of like sad that they're gone.
Yes. Okay.
Black to the Future is a one shot, as most annuals are. So you can read it whenever you want. But the idea is we get to see Storm and T'Challa as much older and what their lives are going to be like way in the future.
Okay, I gotta read that.
Yeah, I won't give too much away. And I'm trying to remember if the artist is Stroman or Lashley. Ken Lashley. Say it again.
Oh, Ken Lashley is great.
Hudlin's annual. It's annual number 1 for this run, I guess.
Let me look up.
So it's,
I guess what year? Oh yeah, I got it.
2005 or 6.
I got it.
I think.
Okay, I'll read it later. Yeah, this is definitely.
The artwork's really cool.
Talk about it.
Yeah, you get a glimpse into the future of what's going on in Wakanda, and there is some issues with rivals. The artwork, I mean, without spoiling too much, is spectacular. There's Storm.
Oh wow,
she looks amazing.
Yeah.
So there's some really cool stuff, but again, it's just about like the possible future where this could all lead if they're staying together, and what their family life might be like, what what this future might entail. There's some fun tie-ins to Civil War, because we do get like glimpses at like Tony Stark's possible fascist regime, where he's got like all these giant sentinels and robots that he's sending in to fight Wakanda.
Nice.
Just concepts of like what this could look like as a nation, and it does jump back to their wedding at the very end.
Nice.
Which ties into the other book from the end of last issue.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. So they give you the covers at the end and that kind of thing, but it does end with the stupid golden frog there at the end, doing its thing. So take of it what you will, if it's a guaranteed future or a possible future, or what the significance is. We just know that the stupid frog's involved.
Right. Well, just the artwork looked amazing, and
it was a quality done. Yeah, it's a quality annual for those things can be real hit or miss. I think it's worth the time.
True.
So there you go, an hour and 5 minutes. Any last thoughts you want to say about the whole thing, or the second half in particular? I know we kind of only spent like 12, 15 minutes on the second half.
Yeah.
A lot of time, I think, on the meat of it, which was the
Totally.
first half.
Totally. The one other thing I wanted to point out, and this kind of goes more back towards during the Civil War stuff, is that we didn't mention was Shuri. And I know we're going to get more into that from what you had suggested. I haven't read on yet, but I do like that we started to see glimpse of Shuri with her council or her crew suggesting like, hey, can't you run this while he's gone? Can't you?
Right.
You know, they had the U.S. naval or the ships that were out, you know, in front of them. They're like, can't we get rid of them? And can't you do something about it, kind of thing? And she's like, no. And she refused. She's like, no, that's my brother. That's for the king to decide. And whatever he says goes. I just wanted to highlight that moment or those moments. It wasn't a lot. It was, you know, brief couple pages.
But it definitely will play out in the next volume for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to note that I caught that, and it was cool it was just interesting to see where she stood as of right now, at least.
Yeah.
And where her people stood, because they were like, yeah, you could do it, like that's you, like we'll follow you. So
and that's the big, like, because they had announced at this point, I believe, that this run would end at issue 41, so you've only got whatever 6-7 issues left, right? And that they would relaunch at Black Panther #1 with a female Black Panther, and I believe it was J. Scott Campbell had done all these variant covers with like Storm's head and Shuri's head and Monica Rambeau's head on the body. So people didn't know which of these ladies would become the Black Panther next, but they did know that there would be a female Black Panther and it would start at an issue #1. And so the next volume is all the way through 41. And then it's 1 through 6 of the next volume. And also a 4-issue mini series called Flags of Our Fathers, which is a Captain America Black Panther crossover mini series by Hudlin that takes place during World War II, and it's Captain America, Steve Rogers, and the Black Panther is T'Challa's grandfather. And it's really about Captain America finding out that there are some Nazis trying to get a hold of the vibranium in Wakanda. And so, you know, you've got the Germans trying to invade Wakanda, and you've got grandfather Black Panther trying to stop them, and Captain America and his Howling Commandos going in to try to help. And that's kind of the story. It's interesting, but not completely relevant to the rest of the run. But it's a side 3-issue mini or 4-issue mini series, I think.
Nice. Okay.
But I'll send that along to you. But if anybody wants to read those things, they should all be on the app. It's the 6 issues of the Shuri Black Panther, the 4 Flags of Our Fathers issues, and then the rest of this primary run, which goes through issue 41.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I do, and that reminded me, I do like back in the Namor issue, I like that Namor had shared there were some flashbacks or history of his connections to Captain America and what was going on even with Wakanda. There were just some like light flashbacks on that stuff. So that just something back with the Invader stuff. And you forget that he's much older. But anyways, so that sounds cool. I definitely look forward to getting into that, you know, when we cross the bridge.
And of course that volume also crosses into, like Matt had mentioned earlier, I think it was Matt. It might have been somebody else. Somebody mentioned the Jason Aaron issues, because there are 3 issues in these 3 volumes that are not by Reginald Hudlin. They're 3 Jason Aaron issues, and those tie into the Secret Invasion event. So you're right that there are scrolls and they're hiding around across the Marvel universe, but it won't be till the very end of this volume that we get that information. It's so Jason Aaron did 39, 40, and 41, the last 3 issues. And I think it was because they were giving, I'm guessing they were giving Hudlin time to get set for his new Black Panther run. So he didn't do those Secret Invasion tie-ins.
Sweet. Well, I love Jason Aaron, so I definitely want to check that out too.
And without complaining about Hudlin, like by comparison, the Jason Aaron issues are my jam. And I don't want to overhype them, but they are a whole lot of fun.
Cool.
For event tie-in issues, it's pretty amazing considering, because usually that stuff is pretty bland.
It can be weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick question. Do you know if Hudlin is still like writing today, or do you know if he does work right now?
I know he
feel
does
like
a
I'd
lot
never
in
seen his name.
TV and movies. Like he's,
Oh, that's right.
he's a movie TV producer
Other mediums.
primarily, but
Yeah.
I have not read anything from him in the comics world for a little while.
Okay.
And I know he and his brother, they were some of the guys behind like Friday and some of the the black comedies of that early 2000s kind of range. They were doing a bunch of that. And then I want to say they were producers for BET for a really long time.
Okay. Wow. So his resume is just big.
Yeah. There's I want to say there's a Black Entertainers in Television like museum in Chicago somewhere, maybe that they manage and run.
Oh, wow.
So I think that's his brother is in charge of it, but they both are on the board. Boomerang, Eddie Murphy's Boomerang. He wrote Eddie Murphy's Boomerang.
Nice.
So I don't know what he's doing currently, though. I guess that was a long way to say I don't know.
No. I was just curious. Yeah, because I didn't really know who Hudlin was other than what we're seeing. Sure. You pointed out to me for Black Panther. So just curious.
And if you guys want to go and watch the volume 1 review that we did on Justin's channel, that video is linked down below. And I believe I went through his resume a little bit in that episode and kind of gave you some of the movies that he had done in the shows. So if people are looking for more of his stuff, that you can find that in that video too. And we'll be back. Ideally, I think I did to be on Justin's channel for the third part of this. I think it's the very first Tuesday in September. The 2nd, I think, is the day after Labor Day. So somewhere around that range, if you've followed Justin and hit that notification bell, which by now I've told you enough times, people, you should do this. That's where we're going to be to wrap up the Hudlin era of Black Panther.
And so just to clarify the numbers, the issues for anybody that wants to read along, it's going to be 35 to what? 30?
It's 35 to 41.
41. Okay.
And then it's 1 through 6 of the next volume. Is the Shuri stuff. And then there's a 4-issue miniseries called Flags of Our Fathers, which is, I think it's called Captain America and Black Panther Flags of Our Fathers.
Perfect.
But I think if you just search Flags of Our Fathers on the app, you would find it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Anything else going on for you? Anything we want to mention to folks before we get out of here?
For those who stopped by thinking this was Omni X-Men, we appreciate you. And we will be back with Omni X-Men. We were just talking offline before. So getting ready here, aiming for October. So be ready.
Yes,
we'll announce the dates, and we're going to start reaching out to folks soon to line things up. So we're just, lining up the dates as we speak. So, once we get that together, but for anybody interested, be ready, because we are definitely coming back, and we'll announce all the issues and everything else that we'll be reading. So, but no, otherwise I'm, John, I know you're excited.
Vacation.
It's a football season for me, John. So, as you know, a lot of sports.
You've been playing the foosball behind my back. Bobby Boucher.
Pretty soon, you won't hear me on a Sunday. I'll be gone. So.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we're gearing up for somewhere early mid-October is what the plan is currently, Matt. So that's what you can, and hopefully by then I'll have finished your curated mystery box and sent it to you, buddy. I do have a few things pulled and set aside, but I haven't finalized the box yet.
Don't feel bad, John. I still have the books. I haven't shipped out to anybody yet from our thing. So I've
been so good. I'm just down to Matt's box. That's all I got left. Good. And I did like 3-4 other channel giveaways since then, and I've got everything cleared out. But the curated box, I take a lot of time on those.
I would say that's
I really want it to be right, and I try to get a lot of ducks in a row. And
exactly,
but it's coming along nicely, Matty.
Exactly.
Just so
there you go. Nice.
C-Biz, what is going on, buddy? I'm glad you hung out with us.
Yeah. Thanks for everything.
And inversely, my goal is to try to read through more Black Panther in clumps going forward. Justin is under no obligation. I know we had definitely wanted to
no
do
contracts
run
have been
together
signed yet,
right? Because this one is the Storm one. It's the marriage one. It was kind of like the Big Mutant one. So I'm glad that you were willing to roll with me on this one.
Yeah. And I'm loving it. So yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I think Justin will have opened his package from me by then.
Why, Matt? Is there something in there that I should open up? To be fair, I have several boxes still that I have not opened over the last 6 months. It's really bad. So
there you go.
Don't feel bad. And one more thing with the Omni X-Men. So we will be doing a launch first, as we normally do. For anybody that isn't familiar with it, we won't just hit you with it and start the first episode or whatever. We'll launch it first. you'll know, we'll talk a little bit about what's to come, and that'll be like the week prior to when we actually
we'll give you the reading order so that you'll understand the kind of the keys. We'll try to recap, where we left off, not just the New Mutants from last season, but we'll go back a year to where we left off with Uncanny, because this is a mostly Uncanny season. So we'll try to catch you up on some of that, and so you can feel like you can dive right in.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome,
gang. I appreciate everybody coming by. I don't have any other live streams planned for this week. That doesn't mean that one won't pop up at some point, but it's a big soccer tournament weekend over here, so probably no live streams. Yeah, right. Sports ball. No big plans there, but I will say this coming Sunday on my channel will be my first time in the D&D Dungeon Master's chair. I'm going to be hosting D&D. So you got your foosball. I got my nerd game.
Yeah, big Sunday. I didn't know you never hosted though, John. I
no.
At some point
it's been. I'm lazy by nature, and so I was allowing White Whale and JP and Big Will even to host and play DM. I had not done a turn in the chair.
Got it.
But I'm the guy in the chair now, so get ready for some bad accents and all kinds of silliness to be happening.
I might tune in. I randomly pop into some of those. I don't say anything. I just kind of watch you guys nerd out, but I appreciate it.
I've done a couple of like how to play D&D episodes to now, how to make a character, and those kind of tutorials that we're hopefully some folks can check out. But this will be a session number 1 this coming Sunday Eve.
Awesome.
Some people saying I'm looking forward to thank you. I appreciate it, Maddie. I appreciate it. Oh, and C-Biz, I appreciate you too, buddy. And hey, I didn't do this for you, C-Biz, because it happened when I wasn't live. You have become a channel member, so you have earned a little video here for me. Yes, C-Biz was my latest to join the channel membership. Let me see if I can give you a couple of videos here. Let's start with I haven't played these in a while. This is Charlie and her love for Darth Vader, the Lego figure. So I haven't played these in a long while.
I really don't like when you're doing that.
But I'm the bad guy. I'm supposed to destroy everything.
But I don't do that. I just save people. And I make stuff for them.
I don't think that sounds very evil.
That's so good.
And then there's the other half.
I've never seen that one.
Yeah, there's the other half of that one.
You have to make friends, and do you still know how to make friends?
I've never had any friends.
Well, you have robots.
I love that.
You have robots. Robots are good.
I've never had any friends.
I used to do that at bedtime. My wife loved it. Like every bed, Charlie didn't want stories at one point, and she just wanted to talk to the Legos. So I had to make voices, and Darth Vader was her favorite. Darth Vader had to be a complete jerk, and she was always trying to talk him down. Stop being a jerk. You don't have to be a bad guy. You can you got robots. Robots are great.
Too cute. I love it. Nice.
All right. I appreciate everybody coming by. I appreciate you, C-Biz, for becoming a channel member. And I will catch you guys all again soon.
Later.